it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk, guys. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your support as always. And if you're looking for other ways to do so, you can find that down in the description. I'm in my Renegade. French roast this morning in my Renegade Tier 8 American Heavy Premium Tank. This is my EU account, mostly doing the grinding thing. But I had a very generous gift given to me, and one of the things in that gift, among the gold and the premium, was a premium tank. So as I have talked about the new player experience, some of the things I have discussed is if you decide you want to spend some money on the game, how would you go about doing so? I really came down on the idea that premium time is probably your best bet. I call that the most bang for your buck. However, a premium tank does not go away like eventually premium time will. So really the combo of some premium time and a premium tank, if you're looking to enjoy the game a little bit more as far as the speed at which you progress. All right. It is not pay to win. I'm not going to get into that necessarily on this video here, but we're going to talk a little bit about the premium tank you might want to choose if you're thinking about getting one, some of the qualities that you would want, especially if you're going to lean towards free to play as opposed to pay to play. I almost said pay to win, didn't I? I was just about pay to play. It is my contention that paying to play is going to only increase the speed of your play, except in one case, and that is gold ammo. All right, now gold ammo isn't pay to win. You can get it for silver. All right, so I recommend even for you free to play folks to carry some gold. I am not right now, just because I am choosing not to, because I'm trying to figure out what that might do to you in a relatively long term. I'm at about 600 battles, going on to 1,000 before I reassess and go, all right, am I going to start carrying some gold? I bet you I do, because it can be very, very frustrating. So let's go back for just a second and talk about the type of tank you might want. The Renegade, for example, is one of those types you might want to get as a premium because it's got a little bit of everything, but the really nice thing, if you look at the average penetration for a standard round, it's 226. That's pretty high. That's pretty high. It is a heavy tank. It's got pretty good armor. It's got good mobility for a heavy tank. The accuracy is pretty nice. It's got a nice gun. The biggest bummer about this tank is this giant tumor, which is a weak spot, so that is something you've got to work around. Everything else about this tank is really nice, okay? Really nice. So that's what you're looking for, is probably a heavy tank, unless you're a little bit better player. Maybe you want to get a good medium. The problem with getting a tier 8 medium is a lot of them have relatively low, as opposed to heavy tanks, standard pen. The guns just tend to be worse. So if you're planning on playing the game without any gold rounds, special rounds, premium rounds, this is the kind of way you want to go. Now, that would be a very unique individual that's planning on just playing the game without ever firing a premium round, okay? But as a general rule, though, as a new player leaning towards free to play, the premiums you pick should have some kind of advantage. And one of those nice advantages is if you're not planning on spending a lot of silver shooting premium rounds, then having a decently high standard penetration. All right, let's go ahead and get going on this. I'll fast forward. We are here on Erlenberg, and I'm middle tier, so there are some tier 9s. 226 standard pen is going to be really tough against tier 10s. Good news here is I don't have any, but you will run into those. And that's why I'm recommending, even for free-to-play players, to carry 2 to 4 premium rounds and just try to minimize their use so that you don't lose credits. Now, with a premium tank and a little bit of premium time, you're going to be hard-pressed to lose credits if you're careful with your gold round. And even if you're not careful, you're getting the pens and the damage, again, you're going to be hard-pressed. It will limit your profits, obviously. It will limit your profits, but you'll be hard-pressed to lose credits. It can be done, you know, that's especially if you're carrying a bunch of large kits and you burn several large kits, yada, yada. So we'll go ahead and push up here in Erlenberg, spawning from the south, and it's in encounter mode. So we've got guys kind of piling in around the cap. Not too unusual for people to go around the cap, especially with heavy tanks, either on standard mode or assault, which this map happens to have all three. It's got assault, standard, and that was actually the GW that shot me through the little V right there. So obviously the artillery is off that way somewhere. And I get a shot in there. I choose not to use my repair kit. Now I want to get away from the Black Prince because I don't want the artillery to shoot me through that V again. If he sees me sit there for much longer, he's probably going to reload and come at me. So while you're not using a lot of premium rounds, say you've only got your 2 or 4 and you're looking at this battle going, okay, didn't really need it necessarily against the Black Prince, probably could have dabbed it to have a better chance against the turret, but one of the reasons I didn't is I had a little tiny couple pixels of the turret, so why waste a gold round trying to get through 1 pixel right there? But there may come a point where you want to go ahead and press 2 because you've got things like a Tortoise that you may want to get through. You've got things like the Conqueror that you may want to get through, even the T-54 for the upper plate potentially. So there are some tanks. Ferdinand is another good example. There are some tanks in situations where you might want that premium round in there. You can see that the castle is secured. That's why I'm able to sort of futz around out here in the open. I don't want to get too crazy about it because more than likely there are some TDs down here along the J row over here. So we need to watch for that. I see the Tiger P's out alone and unafraid, so we're just going to push on in here. And that makes, yeah, there you go. So I'm spotted, and I eat that shot from the Ferdinand. And I kind of knew there was going to be a TD there. Sort of lucky there wasn't 2 or 3, to be honest. So they're taking shots, but I'm actually able to get in there and get rid of the Ferdinand and then cover up against the, sorry, get rid of the Tiger P and then cover up against the Ferdinand here. The T-54, did I kind of low roll that? I don't remember what the alpha is on this thing. 360, so I low roll the T-54 unfortunately. But we get rid of him on the second shot. And now I'm looking to move back into the middle. We've created a nice little advantage for ourselves. We've taken down a tier 9, a tier 8, and 2 7s. We owned the castle. Who cares about the east side? As a general rule, guys, unless the east side is completely unwatched and they come around behind us, nobody cares what's going on up here. I'll be honest with you. I more or less don't go there anymore. Potentially, like the Super Hellcat there and the IKV, okay, not a bad decision. Those tanks are going to have a hard time in the middle. And they didn't send anybody to the castle, so there's nothing really they could do there. Potentially, they could camp back here. So there are reasons to go there based on your tank type, your tiering within a 3-tier battle like this one, the mode, things like that. There are some shots down to the middle, potentially, in between a bunch of buildings. But as a general rule, this is really a fairly useless position. Platoons can actually make a decent use of it if they can get a push going on. And I allow myself to get hit by the Black Prince again, who's been a bit of a thorn in my side. So we'll sneak one into his flat plate front. I got to watch the Tortoise. Tortoise plays a pretty good game here. I have a hard time doing anything with this guy. And now we've got the Ferdinand. And the reason I don't hide from the Ferdinand is I noticed that the scout was up under there, and I figured he had these guys all kinds of busy. So that dude's trying to get away. Long reload on him. A little shot in there, and we kill him. Very nice. For whatever reason, he didn't move. Assuming he didn't have 6th sense or some such thing, or was just not very bright. And there are some windows here, so you got to watch these. You can see I just blocked 150. The Black Prince is still taking little snipey shots at me. The enemy team has evened this up a bit. I can see him here now. Let's see if we can sneak one right into there and kill him off. There we go. So the Black Prince goes down. Again, I was able to get into that flat plate. No gold, as you can see. I'm not carrying any premium gold, special, whatever the word of the day is, round in this thing. 1,939 damage. Now, I don't necessarily like sitting around on caps in encounter. As a general rule, they're a terrible place to be. Not the problem, but the situation on this map with that is that it's also the heavy brawling area. So it's not a bad idea to be here. It's not that I'm trying to cap. It's just that this position is a good position to take on their heavies. And the Tortoise is kind of locked down this area right here, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get a shot on him. Should have probably investigated the Ferdinand when he was lit. So the Tortoise has a really good azimuth on its gun, field of regard. So just sitting there, he can actually, without moving too much of his hull, he can really swing that gun both down the bridge and over to me if I try to get a different angle. So I'm going to try to do this. See how fast he can bring it around. There comes the gun. And I'm going to have a hard time pinning a Tortoise without gold, right? A really hard time. The penetration on the special round is 255, which is not great, actually. Imagine that, 220 to 250, only a 30 millimeter of penetration bonus. So really what I need to do is try to find weak spots, and these shots are never going to go anywhere. I might get up under the tracks, potentially. Probably should have tried a track shot right there. The obvious spot on the Tortoise is that great big Commander's cupola on top. But it's rounded, so unless you hit it directly on, it's going to have a fairly large amount of armor. So I keep getting spotted. There is another tank in there. There's a Conqueror I can't see, and then there's windows. So something, either the Tortoise or something else like the Conqueror, is getting some spots on me as I'm rocking back and forth. Once again, get spotted again. Now there's a Conqueror. It's probably not him. There's probably some kind. There's an opening through here of some kind. I was never really able to find it. Somebody may know where it is, but one of these windows is just very strange, actually, how that works. So I really don't think anybody's closer than these two. Now, the Tortoise takes a big hit, and he's stunned. When somebody is stunned, that is an opportunity to come out and potentially get a shot. He actually hit me. The Tortoise's gun is very accurate. Even when stunned, it's really pretty good. It's extremely accurate when not stunned. So a bit lucky that he only was able to get a track on me right there. So what I was saying is when a tank is stunned, that's a good time to pop out and see if you can get a shot on him. There we go. So I didn't quite get that cupola nailed directly. The Artie is spotted. I'd really like to see him go away. There we go. Now that frees up some things I can do. Artie hits him again, and he's stunned, but he's looking right at me, so I decided not to go out there again. And that's all the calculus, all the tricky stuff. Now he's got 1 hit point, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll just finish this guy off, but I can't see him. Need to be careful about my tumor, and I'll swap over to HE. And while this is just I think it's a 105, I want to say. Even though it's just a 105, 1 hit point should be fairly easy. There we go. Get into the side, relatively lightly armored side, and we're going to do a point of damage. So we get rid of that guy. Now I could spend a lot of time shooting my standard AP rounds at him and bouncing and not killing a 1 hit point guy. So swapping over to number 3, that's where I've got mine mech'd. Put a little HE round into him and just knock that dude out. So we're up to 1,940. I'm going to come on in here. I know the Conqueror is there. Boy, he just hasn't been seen much, so that guy has not been very aggressive. And I don't suspect he's a necessarily very good player based on the way he's been playing. Not really looking to create shots. There he is. And I know I can cross, so I'm looking to get in behind him. Hopefully he doesn't see me, and I can get a couple more shots into this guy. Be very nice. I don't think he sees me yet. No, he still doesn't see me, so we'll just come in here and shoot him. A little bit of a rushed shot. Now he sees me, so we'll just come on here. I feel like I might have wanted to go past him. He's having a hard time putting his gun on. There we go. He gets a shot into me and does damage. I'll just back out, look for that nice side shot. There we go. Conquerors do reload pretty quickly, but so does the Renagini. And we're up to 2,853 with 6 kills. And I don't want to just drive out because I know the Sturb is over there somewhere. So we could have timed that shot, guys. So that's something to think about. I was lit fighting the Conqueror. If you kill a Conqueror, look at the minimap and go, oop, flow straight to the Sturv, and you come right around that corner while you're still lit, he may time a shot or actually still see you and take you out. So that, hence the pause. A little tactical pause there, waiting for that to happen. And then I'll move into these bushes, and I'm really hoping for one of my buddies, the T25/2, or somebody to light him. There he is. Let me just go ahead and take a shot here, get a little extra damage. Very nice. And boom, down he goes. We're at 3,232. 819 assists with 6 kills and not a gold round fired. So pretty good setup. Didn't get pressed very much. Didn't really have to take on the Conqueror or the Tortoise in any real meaningful manner. I was able to sort of snipe out on the Conqueror. I came around behind. Those were the two that were going to give me the biggest problem if for some reason I was trying to face smash them with no premium. But what's interesting about this tank is even the premium round isn't that great at 255, so I still would have had a bit of trouble penning those things in certain places. The Conqueror's turret especially, and even the front armor of the Tortoise was going to give that to even 255 penetration a bit of an issue. So just some thoughts on that. What to do, free to play. Am I going to spend some money? Am I going to have a premium tank? Am I going to use some premium time? How do I want to do it? Some of the ins and outs of all that, but you can certainly do well without it. It's just you're going to have to expectation management because you will run into situations where you look at that and go, man, if only I'd had a little bit of premium, that would have been another 2, 3, 4 shots added on top. I don't think that would have been the case on this one. Maybe a couple of those shots on the Tortoise would have penned with With premium round, I don't think so, based on the angles and things like that. But you will run into those situations. The good news is you'll still get games like this where you don't have to worry about it too much. I think if I was to advise myself on this, and I'll get there eventually, I'm just doing this as part of a science experiment, I would carry about 4 rounds, even as a free-to-play player, on this tank for just those situations. All right, guys, appreciate your support of the channel. That's all I've got. We will see you.